Just a quick question to start this off. How many of you guys have an iPhone? Just raise your hand. Right? And how many of you guys have another phone? Right? So just take a look around, right? You see, everybody has an iPhone, or 90% of the people. So we're going to talk a little bit about why cell phones cost so much nowadays, right? So, with the recent introduction of the iPhone X, many people began to realize that cell phones have been going up in price in recent years. Although they have been going at a quite steady rate, this increase was mostly dismissed by it's just inflation. It wasn't until the iPhone X, however, that people had a problem. That's because the $999 price tag makes you take a second look. The last time we saw prices this high for phones was when the portable telephone was just invented. So this brings up the question of, why does the phone cost so much? For today's explanation, we'll be looking at two major companies for their widespread use of mobile devices, Samsung and Apple. First, let's take a look at the reason for these being chosen. With Apple selling 77.32 million units last quarter, and Samsung selling 74.1 million units worldwide, it's easy to see why these two phones are battling each other for your wallet. With Apple being the only phone to run Apple's iOS, it must compete with many other manufacturers who use Android, such as Samsung. So for a quick background, Apple began selling their phones in 2007 with the release of what is considered the first smartphone of our time, the iPhone. Since then, that phone lineup has expanded to include over 18 smartphones, with the most recent launch in late 2017 including the 8 and X series. Each generation included some sort of breakthrough, the fingerprint scanner on the 5S, the massive display on the 6 Plus, or the dual camera on the 7. The biggest breakthroughs by far have been on the iPhone X. This 10th anniversary edition of the iPhone boasted a 5.8-inch screen with screen-to-body ratio of 82.9%, not to mention this camera that can unlock your phone with your face. You've already seen this phone in someone's hands, but most likely the thought of buying one has also crossed your mind. But when you see the $1,000 price tag, think twice. So, say I do decide to spend $1,000 on a phone. Where will my money go? The base model of the iPhone costs only $370 to produce. In fact, the camera module that's so hyped up, that's only $11. Perhaps the biggest feature is the new display. That costs $110, right? And of course, you have the battery, the steel casing and whatnot. Those all cost some money too. But this price is not inclusive of all the software and manufacturing costs. We can see some of that other gap besides that $370 in the R&D. Last year, Apple spent $11.58 billion on research and development. Advertising also plays a large role in the money Apple spends on each phone. If seeing that phone in your friend's hand isn't enough, you'll be sure to see plenty of it in advertising campaigns everywhere. Although an exact price for this is not known, and it's going to be a ridiculous amount, because in 2016, Apple suddenly just stopped disclosing its advertisements, how much it spends on it. And it spent $1.8 billion in 2015, a 50% increase over the year before. So, why are those phones so expensive? Let's take a look at one. Just a simple 30-second clip can really make you see how beautiful a phone really is, right? So just think, when you see someone, a celebrity, holding that phone or having a nice set of beats on, you think, like, okay, if they're having them, I should have them too, right? So that's the sort of thing that kind of gets you to buy these phones through these advertisements. All right, so have you ever heard of Huawei? Right? Probably not, right? That's because they don't advertise their product like Apple does. That's because most Chinese manufacturers, such as Huawei, are all based in China, and you don't hear about them here, but there they have the whole market captured. They don't buy Apple iPhones or Samsung Galaxies, and that's because these phone manufacturers are able to provide the same exact specs for a much cheaper price, say something like $500, but they still have all the same components and whatnot that you see. And soon, you might even see these phones creeping into the US markets. Right, so some of the money's gone into advertising. But what about the rest? For Apple specifically, this goes into software and R&D. Apple makes its own software. This is why it runs so smooth on your Apple device, and why you don't see it on any other device. To make a software like this, then push updates, and optimize for every iPhone out there, that takes a lot. To develop new sets of instructions for displaying images and each new component added, it takes time, effort, and money. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why we see such a large difference in cost between Android and Apple phones. Android is an open source software, thus anyone can use it in their phones, but they must follow a set of rules to use it. When Samsung uses Android, they must agree to follow all the rules, and they'll release the original version of Android they used alongside the one altered for their phone. This allows for companies to put more into R&D instead. And of course, it's cheaper to use software, so they provide those savings straight to the customer. So the other competitor here is Samsung. While Samsung did not lead the original industry of smartphones, it's been leading the latest no bezel trend. With the launch of the Galaxy S8 last year, we saw a great improvement in phones everywhere. With this relatively early launch in April of 2017, it set new standards for other phones that year. Each phone pushed harder to become more like the new Samsung. Starting at $720, it came with a free VR for those who pre-ordered it. The cost of making this phone was $307. So they made a huge cut and tried to get that user base from Apple to buy their phones instead. So if you look at that, you can see that the price for phones each year has grown significantly. So again, why are the phones getting so expensive? One answer is new technology, more hardware, advertisement, and actually making the phone. This is why you can see so many sellers giving discounts on their prices for these phones. Perhaps you've waited to buy a new phone a couple months or so until you finally get a better price on it, or bought an older model because it's cheaper. But why is it cheaper? A phone, as it becomes old, there's less need for the phone to be advertised as it's already out there advertising itself. Also, the production of the phone has decreased because the original phones have already paid for all the new equipment needed. So when this happens, you can expect a price drop. Also, on the basic laws of supply and demand, you can expect that if you have too many phones, they'll lower the price so that they can sell them as there's less demand. So as long as we're willing to pay for these phones, these expensive prices, companies will keep pushing the prices. We rely so much on these phones nowadays that we're willing to pay anything to get the latest and greatest for these phones. So why is your phone so expensive? It's because we're so reliant on these companies to give us new phones.